This just came in from KC Hilites. Pop open the box. You'll see the box in the box. You can see bright, compact, versatile for your adventures. Cyclone LED rock light kit, 6-pack. Clear, 5 watt each. I can show you what comes in the box. When you order from KC, this is the official seal, so you know you're not getting no knockoffs or anything like that. All KC lights come with the official KC seal, as you can see here. Because there is knockoffs out there. This is the real deal here. Pop this open. There's going to be a lot of wiring in here. This is the wiring harness that comes in it. There's your plastic looms to protect the wires. There's your hardware kit, grounding stud, brackets, zip ties, and there's your lights, which are kind of heavy. Aluminum backing, Cree lights, LEDs. You got 6 of them. 3, 4, 5, 6, 1. And your instruction manual, or instruction paper, I should say. Here's what it looks like. It's going to be a long video. There's your wiring diagram. There's your light with the harness attached. And this is if you're not using these plugs right here, they give you these so you can run your own wires. You got to put an extension. I'll show you the wires when I take them out. Here's it comes in the box. Here's your fuse block. I'm going to show you how to wire this all up. Your fuse box, here's your lights. You got 14 footers, 12 footers, 2 10 footers. There's your wire loom. There's all your lights, zip ties, hardware, mounting brackets, nuts and bolts. There's your grounding block. And there's your light switch. Best thing, if you have a lift. If you don't have a lift, there's your second best thing. Put them on ramps. Okay? You don't have ramps, get jack stands with a jack and lift it up as high as you can, so you get access to the undercarriage. All this is vehicle specific, so what I do here is not going to be the same unless you have a Grand Cherokee. But I'm going to give you the basics of how to do it and what to do. First thing you're going to want to do is take your lights and see where you're going to want it to mount them. To see how they cast the shadow, where the best location to put them is going to be, you're going to want to map it out first. I thought about mounting my lights over the tires, right up over in the inner fender liner. But when I tested it out at night, it only cast a light shadow basically right on top of the tire, which doesn't do anything for me. So my next option is going to be, you got your running board here, or your Nerf bar I should say. You're going to come underneath. And on this mount here, this bolt here, which is toward the front, I'm going to mount one light here toward the front. You go toward the back, you have another mount here on the Nerf bar. The front tire, there's your Nerf bar, there's your mounting bolt. 10mm socket, you're going to back this bolt out and take it out. Okay, you got your bolt out. Now I'm going to show you how you modify the bracket that comes with the lights. This bracket, the way it comes, see its perfect angles? This is how it will look. You want this part to be level with the ground when you tighten your bolt in. So I'm going to show you how to modify that now. If you have a vice grip, if you have a vise on your bench, you could clamp it right here. Okay? Then you take your adjustable wrench, put it here, and pry it down. If you don't have a vise, a bench vise, take this here, adjustable wrench. You want it to be completely over toward the back as far as possible, like that. Okay? This is how it mounts underneath the car. So you're gonna get another adjustable wrench. And you're gonna pry this part, the left side, down. As you can see, it's bending quite a ways, like so. Okay. Now you see, here's the original, and here's how I bent it down. So this will be level with the floor. If this is level with the floor, your light's gonna be level with the floor. As you can see from this angle, the bracket is now level with the floor. That's what you're going for. So now you're gonna mount your Cyclone light to this bracket here. Now you're gonna take your bolt, take your light, put the Allen bolt in through there. Now this mounts like that under the car, so you're gonna come up in that orientation, and you want your wires to be pointing in toward the body. Take your lock washer, your nylon washer, and you're gonna thread it on. 17mm nut, 6mm Allen key. Tighten it on. Make sure your wire harness is pointing up. As you can see, the bracket is down, so you want that pointing up. Line it straight up. You're gonna hold your Allen key and tighten down your socket so it doesn't rotate on you. That's one. You're gonna do that to the other one. As you can see, the light is gonna be level once I tighten it up all the way. You want it centered like so. Tighten this up all the way. Rear mount, passenger side. Take your mount, take your bolt, put the bolt in, catch it back on.
Catch it, thread it with your finger, take your ratchet, tighten it back up.
And like I said, center it between these two brackets so you have an even light pattern coming down.
Hold it in place. Just tighten it back up. Like so. Your wire harness points inward.
You can do that on your both sides on your Nerf bar. One on the back, one on the front. Go to the driver's side, which I've done already, and do the same thing. Back and front. You can see the wire hanging down. Now for the center light toward the front, if you come underneath, you have this engine shield here, which has a hole in the center, which I'm going to utilize for the front mount light. For the front center, you're going to want to loosen up 4 bolts on this engine shield to get access to this bolt here. This is your driver's side toward the front, passenger side toward the front, midpoint, passenger side. You go across, midpoint, passenger side. Loosen this up or take the plate out, whatever you need. And I'm going to use another bolt and washer that will fit inside the center of here and mount this straight to the shield, flush, without using one of their supplied brackets. Okay, you're going to put a bolt with a washer that fits in here, and then on the other side, another flat washer, a lock washer, and a nut to secure that to the engine shield, dead center. And you want your wiring harness pointing toward the back. That's what it looks like mounted. Wire harness points straight back. One more light to go, and that's going to be center in the rear. If you look at it from the front, this is kind of low, but you don't have many options when it comes to the Grand Cherokee to secure this in the center out of the way. So if anything were to happen to this one, I'll just order another 2. I think they come in packs of 2 or maybe even singles. And maybe I will mount it a little higher up on the plastic splash shield under the engine. If you come underneath in the back, you have that mounting point right there in the frame. You got a hole there, a hole there. You got the square in the center. That's where I'm gonna mount my last light in the back center of the truck. Okay, plan B. I'm gonna put a self-tapper between that square and that oblong shaped hole right there. In between the 2 circles. Unless you're MacGyver, there's no way of getting a nut or a bolt in there and tightening it at the same time. I don't have nut certs to put in. That would help. I'll just open that oblong hole, put a nut cert in there, and I'll gun it in, but I don't have any nut certs, so I'm going to self-tap, like I said, in between there. I have a 3/8 self-tapping screw. You're going to take your 3/8 self-tapping nut with a washer. You're going to push that through there, like so. There's your self-tapping nut screw. You're going to gun it in there, just until you catch the threads, and then you're going to tighten it by hand afterwards. You're going to hold your light. You want the wire harness to go to the side. You start slowly. Okay, you're gonna start it, you're gonna leave it loose, and you're gonna tighten the rest by hand. And that's tighten it by hand, like I said. Firmly mounted. The wiring section. You have a fuse block that comes with this kit. Fuse block has 3 wires that come off of it. You got the yellow with the fuse, which goes to battery positive. You have 2 negatives that go to the grounding block that comes with the kit, or your negative terminal in your battery, however you want to do it. On that same wire with the fuse block, you have this long switch harness. Comes all around with your 3 wires that go to the control switch, which you're going to mount inside the truck. This fuse block that comes with the kit, I'm mounting it right here. This kit comes with self-tappers, which I'm temporarily going to use just to mount it here. And after I have the holes already drilled out and everything, I'm going to put a nut and bolt through there to keep that locked firmly in place. When you take off the weather stripping right here, you have wiggle room right here. You're gonna take your power wire and just squeeze it between the rubber right here. And give yourself enough room so you can bend this down so you could attach your fuse block right here. You're gonna take your drill gun with the self-tapping screw and just drill it in. You have 2 holes, mounting holes right here. Like so. And you just gun it in. That's 1, and do the same thing on the other side. Same thing on this side, you got 2 holes. Hold it down, self-tap it in, like so. Put your weather stripping back into place. You don't need that. It has a clip here, just press the clip into the hole right down there, and you can never tell nothing was moved. Next thing you're gonna want to do is pop off your cover and take each of these fuses out, because you're gonna be connecting the power wires right now. These just pop right out. Don't drop them. These are 3-watt fuses, okay? take them all out. I'm gonna be using this right here. This was a good ground, body ground, chassis ground. So I'm gonna be doing it the same way I mounted my other lights, which makes you go underneath here. That black wire right there is the ground for my ditch lights, okay? You're gonna go down, you're gonna come up the same way that wire is right there. And you're gonna ground the 2 black wires from this harness. One there and one there. 3 wires there now. One from the ditch lights, 2 for the Cyclone lights. I'm gonna temporarily put that nut back on because every ditch light needs to be grounded on the body, okay? So you're gonna just leave that loose. You're gonna run all your wires. You got your ground that goes here from each individual light. So it's gonna be 6 total, 6 plus these 3. 9 ground straps are gonna be there. All your power goes here. So you got your 6 banks, 6 hot wires for 6 individual lights. Go to each one of these. For your power, being that on Grand Cherokee, the battery's under the passenger seat, this is your jumping port, okay? This is where your yellow wire is gonna go to, right under there, just like I did on my ditch lights. There's your hot wire going to your stud. You're gonna pry this down, bend it down, zip tie it here, and you can put your cap back on. This kit comes with 6 wire harnesses. 2 long ones, 2 medium ones, 2 short ones. The long ones are the ones that will go the furthest away from your block right there. So that's gonna be the one that's all the way in the center rear. I'm gonna put a long one. Then you're gonna have this one here. It could be on the passenger or driver's side, furthest to the back. Then you got the 2 mediums. That's gonna be opposite side, the long one. This one's gonna be toward the front. This one's gonna be front center. And like I said, this kit is a universal kit. So you're gonna have to buy wire. Go to Home Depot, you got yourself 25 feet, 16 by 19 gauge wire. I got red. I got black. You're gonna have to extend these wires to make this work. But this is a Grand Cherokee, which is longer than, say, your normal Wrangler. If you look at your connections, you got 2 circle connectors. This goes to your fuse block. That's in the front. And then you have these 2 connections that go to the light itself. You see I have a snake here, which runs straight down, which runs on your end fender. It goes through here. It runs along the fender, down, and out the bottom of the inner fender. I'm gonna grab all 3 wires from this light, the back light, and the back center light. And I'm gonna attach it to that snake right there, and I'm gonna pry them all up in one shot. In my hand here, I have the 2 longest wire harnesses that come with the kit and 1 medium-sized harness that comes with the kit. So I'm gonna be wiring the back center and the 2 on the side. 1 there, 1 here, and the back center with these 3. So I'm gonna attach these 3 wires to the snake, and I'm gonna snake it through and pull it up, okay? I'm gonna leave all this hanging down for now underneath so I could show you where to support it on the chassis. So it's not in the way or hanging loose and it's not gonna get ripped off. You're gonna take your 3 wire harnesses, you're gonna put them through your snake like that, and you're gonna put electrical tape around here to hold it before you snake it through to the top. Like so. You're gonna put it over the connections so they don't get damaged. Okay? Just like that. And you're gonna give yourself plenty of room to pull it and pull it up to the top. When you come underneath, there's your Nerf bar. And you're gonna come underneath. This is where you're gonna run it. There's nothing moving in there, and nor will it get damaged. That's the snake right there. Right there. And that's the path that's gonna go up. Under there, behind the inner fender well. You're gonna pull it up from the top end and draw your wires up and through. After you have the wires pulled through, you're gonna wanna go behind here, your weather stripping and your cowl underneath, and you're gonna snake that through all the way to the other side till you're at your fuse block. You're gonna do the same deal. You're gonna pop up your weather stripping enough to move it out of the way, and then you're gonna take this, which is loose, which has a rubber weather strip in there. You're gonna take your wires and you're gonna put it behind here, and you're gonna end up on this side of the shield right here. Once you're on this side of the shield, you're gonna snake the wires through and come out the other side at the fuse block. Here's the passenger side underneath the wiper cowl, and I come from that way. I'm gonna pull it through over here, so I could put my terminals on the fuse. And this cowl, this plastic shield here, I snaked it up the same way I did the ground wires. You can see the ground wire, and here's your wire harnesses right here. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is take the blacks, all the black terminal wire harness. You're gonna take all your black connections, your 3. You're gonna attach it to your ground strap right there. You're gonna take your reds, your hots, and you're gonna put one in each one of these blocks. There's your 3 power wires to the fuse, and there's your, so far, 6 grounding straps, okay? You still have plenty of room here. These wires are not pinched, they're free moving. This is temporarily until you have everything mounted the way you want. Then you're gonna secure these with wire loom, zip ties, and you're gonna make sure nothing's getting pinched again as well. The middle length wire was not long enough to stay toward the bottom, so it exited under here. So we're gonna have to extend this wire dramatically. You're gonna take 16 by 19 gauge wire, 25 feet, if not more. You need red, you need black. You're gonna need butt connectors. 10 packs should be more than enough. This is 22 by 18 gauge. And this is heat shrink as well to keep it water out of it. Wire cutters. And you're gonna cut right there. Cut both your wires. You're gonna strip these wires right here. And you're gonna strip them 5/16, which is basically that right there. You're gonna do that on both sides, like so. You're gonna take your butt connectors. You need 2 per harness. You take your wire, you press that in until it's up to that point, past your weather shield, your heat shrink, and you're gonna crimp it there. You take your crimpers, you put it in there up to that point, you hold it, insert your wire all the way in, and crimp it. Give it a firm crimp. Test the crimp that it don't come out or is not loose. Do the same thing on your black wire, like so. Put the wire in all the way, crimp it. Firm crimp. Make sure it's snug. Extra wire, crimp it, 5/16 each. Boom. Boom. Twist your wires to make them tight. You're gonna take your red wire, get your crimper ready, make sure you don't crimp it yet. Insert your wire. Can't see. Crimp it, nice firm crimp. Test it, always test your crimps. You don't want nothing loose, because then you're gonna have headaches. Do the same thing for your ground wire. Get your crimpers ready. Don't squeeze it yet until you get it in. Like like so, and then crimp it. Give it a firm tug. Now this, you're gonna heat shrink it with your heat gun or a lighter until there's seals around here. It makes a solid waterproof connection. And go until it shrinks down to the wire and it's waterproof sealed. Keep the wire moving, you don't want it hot in one spot. The red one is done. The black one just sealed. Come on top. Top of the black sealed. A little gap right there in the red. Keep it there a little bit. And it's sealed. That's how you do waterproof connections. Electrical tape. And tie it around here firmly. For extra waterproofing and strength for your connections. And just keep going around. Go around one. Then go back up the same way you came down. Nice and tight. And you will never have nothing to worry about. Now you're gonna have to do the opposite of how you got this wire up here. You're gonna wanna go back down behind your inner fender and out the bottom where the other wires came from. So you're gonna take your snake from the bottom, go back up behind the shield, inner fender, and come back out here. And you're gonna give yourself plenty of room. Don't be stingy with the wire because you're gonna regret it and you're gonna have to make another connection and extend it. And you're gonna give yourself enough room. This wire I'm gonna put to the front side on the driver's side. You're gonna reverse snake it now, pull your wires through. So you get to this point, and then you're gonna measure from this point. You want to give yourself enough room so you can run along here and come up to your front light right here. This is what you're going to be ended up with. One wire that goes for this. You got one long one that's going to go for that one there. You're going to have to extend another one of these long wires to reach the back center. This is the wire that I extended. Inside the kit comes these harnesses that they're already pre-terminated. You just got to join them up with the two butt connectors like you did from before. Red to red, black to black. There's your connection. Heat shrink, weather tight. Like I said, put electrical tape around that to be extra safe. And that's going to go to this one here. So I got that one wired. I got that one wired. Now I'm gonna have to extend that wire to reach the center rear. How you gonna run your wires? Here's my snake. Right down there, under the snake, is the inner liner, inner fender, the soft fender. You're gonna come underneath here. You see a snake right there. There's your inner fender. You're gonna come down to the bottom. There's your inner fender right here. Here's your snake. And you're gonna do the same thing like you did on the other side. You're gonna wrap the long, the medium, and the small wire harness that comes in the kit. You want the circle connectors under your tape. Tape it up good. Okay? You can leave the ends that go toward your connectors to your lights loose. And you're gonna pull everything up under the fender at the same time, slowly. Make sure it doesn't get jammed or bind anywhere. And you're gonna pull that out to the top. You're gonna end up with your 3 wires coming out the top. There's your snake. There's where they come in through. You're gonna do the same thing as you did on the other side, except for now you're coming from this way. So you're gonna wire your 3 circle rings connectors and these right here, 1, 2, and 3. Okay? Your ground that you left loose, you're gonna put the blacks on that side, your ground wire. 3 of them go there, 3 more go there, and you can tighten this one down. Your reds go here for power. Back the screw out all the way. I don't know why they didn't use the connectors that look like a spade connector that look like that. That's open on one side. So you got to back out your screw all the way, make sure it doesn't fall. Put your little ring in, tighten it back up. For the passenger side, you got your inner fender right there, where I drop the wires down from the top. I'm gonna run across, I'm gonna zip tie it to this harness right here. You're gonna follow it. You're gonna zip tie it to that wire harness shield. Keep coming back. There's your first light. You're gonna make a connection there. The other wire is gonna be zip tied along the wire harness shield all the way to the back where it intertwines there, where I'm gonna zip tie it there. I'm gonna put a sheath over the wire here so it doesn't rub on that metal gas tank strap. And then as you can see, it's gonna terminate to this wire light right here, which is the rearmost one by the back tire. This is the passenger side inner fender right here. This is your inner fender. You got your 2 wires going toward the back. On the side, you got 1, which I put in a wire loom. Okay, because you put in a wire loom in places where it's going to be abrasive. So if you look here, I have a wire tie. I ran it under this frame, zip tied it right there. Another loom right there because that's a sharp corner. So you put wire loom there. Dropped it behind, over this bar, behind the bar. There's your oil pan right here. I'm gonna run it along this frame right there. I'm gonna come across. I'm gonna put a wire loom here. And we come toward the front. There's where your light is. I'll show you when I have that all secured. Front center light, wire loomed. Here's your engine skid plate. Got a hole here. You're gonna snake that through with wire loom. You're gonna want to wire loom this whole harness because it goes around a lot of bends and sharp points. So basically the wire is going through here, I zip tied it behind here on top of the engine skid plate. One here. That is coming all the way around. Here's your passenger side rear light. That's how I ran it. Wire loom, split loom, all the way across. Zip ties galore. You're gonna zip tie it to that bracket right there. That's a wire harness inside there, so that's like a protector. I just ran it right across. Go toward the front, keep going toward the front, zip ties, zip ties, zip ties. And you're gonna have passenger side front right there. Like I said, zip ties galore. There's your wire loom, split loom over the wire harness there. Follow it across, zip tie. And you're gonna have your inner fender where I snaked it through. All I gotta do now is come back and cut all these zip ties so they're not dangling around and looking unprofessional, which I'm not. I'm professional status. Here's your rear driver's side. There's your axle, control arm, lower control arm, drive shaft, axle shaft. Okay, here's your snake. Going up behind your inner fender, behind your shock. Going up that hole right there, making like a U shape, going over your control arm on both sides. Coming out behind the fender, inner fender again. This is how you're gonna snake your wire through. Coming from up here, the way I ran it, along the frame. Here's your filler neck for your gas tank. It's gonna go over that. It's gonna come behind here. The wire is gonna exit right here, go up, over, like a U shape over the control arm, over your axle shaft and come out behind your shock, down, and it's gonna exit next to this wire harness right here. Then you're gonna take that wire, you're gonna run it across, run it across, run it across. You're gonna zip tie everything, you're gonna run it across, run it across, run it across. You're gonna zip tie it here, away from, this is your emergency cable. You're gonna wire it away from here, and you're gonna connect it here. I use zip ties because that self-tapper wasn't getting tight. So there's 3 holes there. So I put 2 zip ties. One goes around toward the center, and this one goes around the other hole toward the center. And I locked it down. And I'm not covering any of the LEDs. They're spaced apart, so it's not gonna put a shadow on the floor. Put wire loom, split loom, zip tied it, secure, all the way around, secure it with zip ties and wire loom. Go all the way around. You got this harness here. This is the one I put in. It goes up over in the inner fender, goes toward the inside shock, comes down, falls out behind the inner fender, goes toward the gas tank filler tube, and proceeds forward down the same channel. Over the gas tank skid plate, the plastic skid plate down there, and it goes all the way down toward the front, the way I showed you it goes in. Secure as much as you can with zip ties. You don't want nothing moving around, rubbing, or hanging loose. When you come up on top, you're gonna get a larger split loom. Wrap it around your 3 wires that come up on the driver's side. And you're gonna shove it down, and it's gonna come out over here, behind here. Okay? To protect it from, there's a sharp corner right here. So you're gonna put that split loom there so it's not rubbing on the wires. This piece pops off. Unscrew here, you got a clip here and a clip here, and this pops off. Run your wires underneath this, and as you can see, it runs to the passenger side cowl. Take your weather stripping, secure that back in place. Has a clip there on the bottom, pop it in there, and that's secure. Push it down, all around, and you're good. No sharp corners, the wires ain't rubbing on anything, so this side is completely done, driver's side. You're gonna do the same deal with your split loom on the other side. After you have all your wires ran, secured underneath, all your wire sheath in and split loom is secured, nothing rubbing tight. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is bring your switch wire harness inside your cab. I've showed you a detailed instructions on how I do so when I installed my ditch lights. But in theory, you're gonna come in here, you're gonna pop this loose. Be careful because this breaks. This is the passenger side glove compartment right underneath. There's one clip here, there's supposed to be 3. There's one here which is broken off. Here's another one which is broken off. Pop that out. You're gonna come inside. You're gonna grab right here on this panel and it pries up. 2 there. Open your glove box. Pry up. So this panel is completely loose. You don't gotta remove it, just loosen it. Like so. Okay? Then you're gonna come on this side. Grab this side panel right here. And this comes off completely. It just pops right out. Then you're gonna do the same thing on the driver's side. After you have this loosened, you're gonna grab this panel and pry it out, like so. This is where I ran my lights from my back pod lights and my front ditch lights in the other video. Grab your panel here, pry it back towards you. It comes out one piece, held in by 6 or 7 clips. And this is where you're gonna snake your wires through from the passenger side straight across to the driver's side. This is weed whacker string. It's kind of stiff. I'm gonna use this to push it through from inside straight up through the outside, and then I'm gonna attach my wires to this, and I'm gonna draw it in like a snake. If you look underneath, right here, where I have this wire harness coming through right here, that's where you're gonna push your snake through to get it through the firewall. After you have your snake pushed through, it's a good chance you'll be able to get it with if you have long pliers or a claw tool. Just grab it and pull it up. You can do this one of 2 ways. You can either tape it up like this, leaving your spade connectors on it, and you're gonna do it not as one big thick knot. You're gonna have one spade connector, go down a little bit, attach another one, go down a little bit, and attach your other one. And you're gonna wanna take this up real tight and go all the way down to your sheath that's on the wire already. Then you're gonna slowly draw it through the firewall and into the cab. The other way of doing it is just cutting all the spade connectors off so you have bare wire, and attaching it to your snake and just pulling it through. I'm gonna try it with the spade connector still attached, so I don't have to do any more splicing and joining of any of the wires. There's your wire pulled through, right here. You're gonna pull it in as much as you can. You don't want it to be super tight, and you don't want this to bind on anything. Okay? So pull it in here, go outside, check that you're not twisted around anything, and keep going until you're in all the way. All the way through. Inside right now. Next thing you're gonna wanna do is pass it through from passenger side straight across through into the driver's side compartment. I have it snaked through to the other side. You're gonna grab the carpet and you're gonna run the wire just behind the carpet and work it all the way up until you meet your rubber grommet near the firewall. Just toss it right behind there. There's no sharp edges behind it, and it moves pretty easy. That's what it looks like. Sealed back up, no exposed wire. There's your wires running through to the other side. You're gonna put this cover back in place. It snaps in. Here's your 1, 2, 3. Then you got 2 down here on the bottom. 4, lock that in place. I'm waiting for my switch to come in from rough country, so temporarily, I'm just gonna run this through here. I'm gonna put everything back together. I'm gonna leave this here secured but out of the way. And then when I get my switch in, I'm gonna attach my 3 wires to the rough country light switch. And I'm gonna just pop that back in right there. There you have it, fellas. KC Cyclone lights, 6-pack. Got 2 on each side. Got 1 rear and 1 in the front. There you have it. Questions, comments, leave them below. I get back to everybody. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, comments, leave them below. Video suggestions, leave them below. I get back to everybody. Take care, fellas. Oh. Yo. 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 Oh, look at that. Oh, look at the Jesus sandals in action. Oh, look at those. Look at those. Look at that.